Is silence the killer to your success? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back. SC360. This is LDG. Listen, I'm excited, man. Today's a really important day. Some lives will be changed. Maybe when you hear this, this is an important podcast for me. Something that I love to talk about. I love to talk about success. I love to talk about leadership. I love to talk about things that can stop you from getting to where you want to get to. All right. So today's topic is silence. Is silence the killer to your success? What does that mean, right? When you read the title, right? Is silence the killer? Kind of catchy, right? Gets your attention. What I'm trying to understand is, in my life, right, I had many opportunities, many opportunities to do things, and what I've noticed is that sometimes we are silenced. It could be by an organization you're associated with. It could be a spouse, a family member, maybe your family name, something to that effect, right? And so sometimes you'll leave your opinion on the table, or you'll type something up, right? We do it all the time. We type this whole thing, and we reread it. We make sure it's good. We don't want all those internet grammar people to attack us. So we reread it, and we never send it. We never send it. We never give our opinion, or even at your job, at your the organization you're with, or even just an opinion you have, whether to politics, something that's happening right now in our nation. These things kind of kill success. I said it in a post, and I'll read it to you. Yesterday, I said, in order to be truly happy, you have to be yourself. Okay? If you're silenced by your career, an organization you are associated with, or your significant other, you most likely won't be truly happy. I experienced that. I experienced all of these things, right? Because I'm who I am, right? I work for 2 government agencies that I got to be very careful, right? I'm also part of a lot of nonprofits that I need to be very careful with. And the reality is, I'm not telling anybody to be reckless, right? I'm not telling anybody to be reckless. What I'm saying is, be yourself. Speak up. Tell your opinion. We all have rights. We all have constitutional rights, First Amendment. Don't be afraid. For too long, and this is just me being extremely real with all of you. For too long, I worried about what people thought. Like, some people probably like, man, what's up with Lewis, man? He's over here, talking about this, talking about that. He's giving his opinion about this. I never seen this side of Lewis before. I think when you get older, I'm 40 years old. I'm really trying to figure out, what's this thing we call life? I essentially have 30 some years left. If you look at the average age of life, right? So at 40 years old, I'm starting to look at everything and be like, you know what? I really don't care what people think. I really don't care if people think I'm this, that, whatever. I don't care, because the reality is, in life, the people that truly care about you, those are the ones that are going to come to you and be like, and tell you the truth. They're going to tell you when you're successful, all those things, right? So, and I'm not saying be reckless. Of course, you're part of an organization. You need to be very careful what you say. This year alone, I'm going to tell you right here, I'll be resigning from a lot of boards, because I'm really going to be real with all of you on this podcast. There's no reason for me to make a podcast and I can't be real with you, right? There's no reason for me to come up here and not try to be real. Now, of course, I have a career profession, and I'm going to be very careful around that. But, these other boards, these are volunteer. This is a volunteer type of boards. And I don't want to hurt those organizations. I'm not going to say anything reckless. I'm not going to go crazy. That's not who I am. But I want to be me, and in being me, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel all of you, like, somebody got to hear this today. Somebody sitting back saying, man, I should have done this, or I should have done that, or I should have spoke up. you know, and you lose an opportunity. You know, you never even know. The person you might speak up to that's in a position of leadership might even respect you more. Like if it's me and I'm a chief executive and I have an employee that speaks up, there's something special about that employee. So I'm going to look at it from a perspective of that is not a threat, right? It's like when I ran for mayor, you know, tremendous silence. I felt like I couldn't even be myself. Like I had to be careful with this and be careful with that. And, you know, I work for this entity, right? And I had to be super careful. And many of you know the story. Many of you know the story. I ran in 2016. I ran for mayor and I got taken to court. You know, it's politics. But my opponent, no hard feelings there. It is what it is. We ended up winning. We stayed on the primary. But even through that entire campaign, there's that little voice in the back of my mind. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. I would have loved to be an entrepreneur. Shout out to all my entrepreneurs. Shout out to Faces International, always doing their thing. I love everything that they do. Shout out to all those entrepreneurs. The first thing when I think entrepreneur, I think of like Faces International. I think about all these entities doing it. Louis Bardalis, you know, LBJ Media. Shout out to them. You know, shout out to everybody who's an entrepreneur. But I wish that I was an entrepreneur, man, because then you would see. I wouldn't be strapped. You know, so I want to share this information with you, man, because I think it's important. I think it's important. When you have to understand, you have rights. You know, constitutional rights. You know, First Amendment rights. And it's important. It's important for all of us to come out and be ourselves, man. You know, I not that I would have won that race. I'm going to be real with you. I wasn't going to win that race. I had everything stacked against me. I was Latino. I spoke Spanish. I spent almost, at that time, 17 years in the military. Right? I had 2 kids, a boy and a girl. A family. I spoke Spanish. Born and raised in Allentown. I'm the ultimate threat. So you know they were watching every move. And of course, you know, I still did what I had to do. I stood up for myself. And it was one of the best moves that I ever did, man. Of course, I felt silenced. I felt strapped, right? I felt strapped. But I still went out there and did what I had to do. I wish I would have been more forward. I wish I had more confidence. I wish I had the wisdom 3 years later that I had today, the confidence that I had today. Because it would be, I'm telling you right now, these candidates right now running for mayor, you gotta really challenge these individuals. You can't stay silent. You know, we have a mayoral campaign and I don't see nobody challenging anybody. You know, I don't know. And again, that might not even have to do with this podcast. But if it was me, I'm not staying silent. I'm going to look at all your legislation. I'm going to look at all the things you've done in life. I'm going to look at everything you did in your life. And we're going to talk about it. Just like on my show, we're going to talk about it, right? That's how we do SC360. Let's talk about it, right? And maybe I will touch on some of those things in the next coming months. I think that's a good idea. Maybe we should talk about it. You know, maybe we should break down each candidate and see what they about, right? But yeah, so, you know, my biggest thing is that when you stay silent, you might lose a tremendous opportunity to move up, to help people, to make a difference, you know? And I need to share that with you because I think it's important. I mean, the reality is there's a lot of us, especially being born and raised in humble beginnings. We weren't really born with the confidence to do a lot of things, right? We just had the paradigm, the mindset. Like I always talk about when I go speak, when I used to go speak at schools when they were open before COVID-19. I used to talk about this with the kids, right? The paradigm. COVID-19 done took everything away. That's the truth. But I used to talk to them about the paradigm, the mindset, how you grow up. You know, I would ask them, who here thinks they can be a lawyer, a doctor, an entrepreneur? Maybe I have one hand. And the one hand up would be the kid that's a funny guy or a funny girl, right? But that's the paradigm in being in a humble beginning. You don't even have time to think about what you want to do and what you're capable of doing. You're just trying to survive, right? You're trying to survive. So, this podcast right here, this episode right here, talking about is silence the killer. I think it is. I think it kills a lot of dreams. It leaves a lot of people that could have been in great positions to make a difference, and they just hold back. They hold back, and you know, at the end of the day, you live one life. The average male, I think, lives to 76 or 77. I'm halfway there. So whatever I do, I give 110%. I mean, you can look at my profession right now, my bread and butter right now, working for the city. You see, I put 110% in everything that I do, right? And that's what you have to do. And you can't be silent about it. You know, you got to stay hungry. You know, the fuel, it has to fuel you, right? You got to be like, okay, I'm going to speak up. I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm going to be a person to make a difference, you know, to make a difference. You know, at the end of the day, you have to identify everything in your life that you're like, well, I don't know, you know. So when you see that, when you hear that voice in the back of your mind and you're like, well, that's when you got to attack. That's when you got to speak up. That's when you got to do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, silence will kill many dreams. You know, silence will, I mean, it is what it is. We've all been there. It's almost like, why should I speak up? Why should I say anything? You know, I love to go to like town halls or meetings with certain folks, right? And it's always the same people speaking. It's always the same folks, you know? And then one time, I went to a meeting one time. I seen a young person and they're itching to talk. And you can see the struggle. You can see they want to give their opinion. And I'm looking at them. I'm looking. I want to see if this person can really make it happen. And I remember being in this meeting. It was like a community meeting about a lot of different things. And I remember being in that meeting thinking to myself, man, that person's really struggling with wanting to give their opinion. And you see other people jumping at the bits. Everybody's trying to speak. Everybody's trying to give their opinion. This person's giving their opinion. Everybody giving their opinion. And boom, finally. It's almost like an awakening. You could see that once you got rid of that fear of trying to speak up and give somebody, you see the person changes, right? And you could be successful in that way. You just never know. You know, you just never know. At the end of the day, you got to speak up because it could kill your endeavors, your dreams. Like for me, if I never would have spoke up, fought to run in 2016, I'm not the person I am today. You know, I'm not the person I am today. And I think, and yeah, I lost. It is what it is. But I'm not the person I am today. And I'm happy that I ran. I'm happy that you know, I spoke up for myself. I mean, y'all can see it, WFMZ, all the articles are there. You'll see how I spoke up. And I was a young man. You can tell I was a young stallion trying to run for mayor, you know what I'm saying? But I spoke up. And through it all, I got stronger. I became better at the things that I do, public speaking. I remember going to town halls and being nervous. And you're always going to be nervous. I mean, you can do 100 town halls, you're still going to be nervous. But I just remember gaining that strength, gaining that confidence, right? But I always had that little voice in the back of my mind. So the message today, my friends, is silence is the killer. So speak up. Do what you got to do. Follow your dreams, man. And the reality is, if you can do that, if you can pull that off, you're going to be a better person. I guarantee it. I'm not telling you to be reckless. Be tactical. All right? Thanks for watching the show. If you have any questions, hit us up. Please share the video. Somebody got to hear this, man. Somebody has to hear this today. The reality is, success can come in many ways. And you could hinder that success in not speaking up and not going after what you want to go after. You know, a lot of times we're strapped, right? We feel that way. We're like, oh man, I can't do that. Or I can't say that. Or I don't belong here. That's bullcrap, man. That's bullcrap. Never let society control what we want to do and what we want to say. And on the caveat to that, those folks that are expecting us to say something, don't let those people control us either. Because that's the truth. You're going to have people that are going to be like, oh, wow, you ain't saying nothing. You know, that type of stuff. When you know that you don't care anymore of what people think, and you are a person that is a good person, and you know how to control yourself or carry yourself, then you're going to know when it's time to speak. I can tell you today that I know when it's time to speak. I know when it's time to step back and let the people be out there and do their thing. You know, at the end of the day, silence is the killer. Don't let it kill your dreams. Don't let it kill the things you want to do in life. Speak up, speak often. And you know what? At the end of the day, you're going to be successful. God bless you. Take care. And as always, thank you for tuning in to SC360. Tune into the next episode. Subscribe. Hit that little bell button, my friends. We're going to get together and let's talk about it.